Hi, everybody, and welcome to week one. Almost the last couple days of week one as you're finishing up week one after, I hope, a very fulfilling Thanksgiving break. So, you got a couple days left, today, tomorrow. Your assignment's not due till tomorrow night. I want to talk to you a little bit about week one in strategic internet public relations and give you some insights. First, any good marketing intervention, and everything we do is an intervention. So public relations is an intervention. We're intervening into the process of providing lifting the brand or promoting a particular product or service. With any intervention, you always want to start with research. Now, you've probably seen that in many of your courses. It may not have been called out as explicitly as we're doing in this class, but what are we doing? We're monitoring the brand, and that basically is a form of research. Many traditional marketing courses, as a matter of fact, will always talk to you about research and also market intelligence, which we could just translate that to be monitoring the brand. It's one and the same. So what you're doing this week is you are taking a look at your brand and understanding how your brand is interacting in the marketplace. And in particular, you want to be able to develop resources so that you have insights in terms of the industry, the competitors, the consumers, everybody that would be interacting with any of your supply chains that create, or value chains that create the brand. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of videos that will go into a lot of this in greater detail, but I just wanted to share with you some of the thoughts that are behind those videos. One is to understand that public relations is considered a boundary organization. That means that we are the bridge between the executive teams at your company, your brand. That would be anybody in the C-suite, the chief executive officer, the chief marketing officer, the chief human resource officer. We act as a boundary to pass communication from the C-suite to everybody within the organization and everybody outside the organization eventually. So first, we communicate internally. That's internal communications. And you're actually going to have a discussion post on that later in the week. Then, when you look at each of the functions within the organization, those functions have audiences that are external to the company. And once again, we act as that boundary between the function and the external audience. Now, an external audience becomes a stakeholder when they do something that can affect the organization, and when the organization does something that can affect that audience member. It's a symbiotic relationship. So that's the crux of how public relations operates, both within and outside of the organization. So this week, what we're asking you to do is to create a monitoring system. Well, one, to explain the strategic landscape of your organization. That's the voice from my computer saying, it's 10 o'clock. When I'm teaching in campus, I'm not sure whether my students like that or dislike it, but it keeps me on track. At any rate, the critical thing is that we are beginning with research, monitoring the brand. You're asked to create a video to demonstrate both your strategic understanding of your organization and the monitoring system that you develop. What RSS feeds, what Google alerts are you collecting on a regular basis? What other software resources are you using so that you're not having to Google your brand every day and do research from scratch every day? You want information to come in. That's why it's called monitoring. And you want it to be manageable. Now, the question becomes, and the assignment says 3 learnings. What are the learnings that we're looking for? Well, first off, if you tell me you don't have a social media presence, You don't need to monitor your brand to learn that. If you're not engaging enough with your audience, you know that too. If you're not putting enough posts, you don't need to monitor. That's just something that you look at and you say, hey, this is an issue. Monitoring, we're looking for information. We're looking for information that will help us in the creation of what are known as pseudo-events. This is things that we can create the narrative on. And second of all, we're looking for information that we can share that keeps us in the forefront of our stakeholders, our audience's minds on a regular basis, so that we're providing them with information that they will be able to use or find interesting on a regular basis. Let me share with you a story. I want to come back to the idea of pseudo-event. And I'm going to swing around here because I'm going to take a quick look to see, and sometimes my books just pop out at me, and at other times I got no idea where they are. And this is one of those where I've got, I found it. Sometimes I get lucky and it's right here. Edward Bernays' book on public relations. This is this is the treatise written in 1924, I believe, with regard to what Bernays called the role of the public relations counselor, coach. And one of the stories in that book that I think really crystallizes what a pseudo-event is that he was asked to help a very old hotel that was having some issues in maintaining its clientele. He was asked to market that hotel. And what Bernays did, he looked at it and said, wow, this hotel's been around for almost 30 years. We need to have a celebration of the town that the town puts on, celebrating the 30 years of contribution that this hotel has made to the town where it was located. I believe it was up in Western Michigan, as a matter of fact. Think about that. We got a hotel that's underperforming. We need to market it. Do we market the service that it provides? Do we market the quality of the rooms, the quality of the facilities, the friendliness of the people? No, Bernays says we're going to create an event and we are going to celebrate the 30-year anniversary and the contribution that the hotel has made to the community over those 30 years. And the brilliant part was he put together a committee. He brought people in from a number of different people from different aspects of the city. Some were just normal residents of the city. Some were members of the city government structure. And all together, they worked on creating a celebration of the 30-year anniversary and how important this hotel was to this city. And it was a huge success. The hotel rebounded and went on to live through another very healthy life cycle of sales and branding. So, what your job is in creating monitoring systems is to be looking at what type of events could we mimic and apply to my brand or service that we're seeing out there. What ideas do we have for creating pseudo events? It's benchmarking. It's just looking for ideas that you can then twist and turn and make your own for your own brand or service. It's also looking for threats and trying to identify threats before they can really do any damage to your brand, its products or services. And by the way, that's what we're doing really in week 4 with your group project. You're mitigating a threat to a brand. Now, in this case, we're looking at something that's already happened in week 4 for that project. But in essence, if you were monitoring the brand, hopefully you would have seen something coming before it actually hit the organization, and you were able to have a plan in place to mitigate those circumstances. So that's what we're doing in week 1, And I just wanted to give you that broad brush overview so that you would have an idea. I apologize. With the holiday, we're not going to get in a go-to training session. I didn't feel like it was fair to you to schedule one during the day. So I'm scheduling this right now so that we have this opportunity to communicate. Don't tell anybody that we're doing this during the day. You can watch it tonight, and then it'll be just like going to a go-to training session. At any rate, that's week one. If you have any questions, my phone number, 407-267-8600. Please feel free to call me. Text me first. Unless you're friends and family, it goes to voicemail. I get so many calls. But if I see the text, I'll call you back right away. I usually catch those fairly quick. At any rate, again, hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. This is Dr. John, and we'll be talking to you soon. Bye now.